Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and with me is my friend Nick Millet and of course our friend Jill Jade. Thank you so much for joining us, Jill.
Hi.
Yep.
What's up, Joe?
Yeah,
Hopefully I stay connected.
Oh yeah, I'm really hoping so.
Hopefully,
I'm
you
really
look like you got good picture quality right now, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, here. Something's wrong. It's not connecting to my Facebook. Hang on. Before we get started, let me just correct this issue.
Yeah, it's just something. It's something that StreamYard does. It might be because you're setting these platforms up, several days in advance. So you might have to start shortening that down to like 2 or 3 days beforehand.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I don't know if that's the exact answer, but that's from what I've heard of in the past.
Yeah, I figured like I'd just be. I thought it was just being thorough, like just setting up days before that. So, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, more on that later. So tonight we're covering something I do remember being released from childhood, but did not see it immediately. This is something that I like. One of the many movies that were released in 1999 that just sticks with me. I remember seeing posters of this movie at the advertisements, and it is the Tim Burton's telling of Sleepy Hollow.
Yep.
Classic movie.
Oh yes, and once again, it's a collaboration of Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, with Johnny Depp playing Ichabod Crane. He was just perfect in that role.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Hey, Jeremy. Good to
What's
see
up,
you.
Jeremy?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Santi. Good to see you.
I was going to say, is this someone you know, Don? Because
Yes.
I've never seen this person before.
Oh, yes. He's he's one of my subscribers. I've seen he's commented on my live streams before.
Okay.
Most recently, like when I was playing The Last of Us Part 1, and just yesterday I started playing live streaming Dead Rising.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah. Sleepy Hollow is a movie I have not watched yet. Oh, I highly recommend you do so, because this is one of Tim Burton's. Yeah, this is one of Tim Burton's best.
This is the perfect time to watch it because part of it does kind of take place around the early tradition of Halloween. So I would highly recommend checking it out during this time of the year.
Oh yeah, you could, if you got HBO Max, you could watch it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see now, Jeremy just said he just got the link for the show. I'd only seen it one time. That was well over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has. That's understandable, Jeremy.
I got you, Jeremy. Yeah, like you said, if you would like to join, you can. You're free anytime. If you're unable to for reasons like that, that's fine. No worries.
Or if you're a Johnny Depp fan, jump on.
Totally. Oh man, yeah, because this movie had so many familiar faces, like people who would frequently work with Tim Burton and people who would work Tim Burton with him later on in the future, such as Christina Ricci. Like she was great as Katrina, and then let's see, she would later star in the show Wednesday, which Tim Burton directed the majority of the episodes of. Yeah. And let's see, there was also Michael Gough, who I do remember him as Alfred in the Batman movies.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and then there was like one of the things that really stands out for this is like the depiction of the Headless Horseman, which I do strongly believe this is the darkest depiction of Headless Horseman in film, because this Headless Horseman in this film was supposed to be this spirit of a Hessian horseman that worked with the Germans in the in the American Revolutionary War, and was just in it for the bloodshed. He absolutely craved carnage, according to the film, and had even the point to make himself look more animalistic. Like, he had filed his teeth down to sharp points, and what's crazy is that the fact that this Headless Horseman, when he's shown alive, is played by Christopher Walken.
Mm-hmm.
Which is another great actor who I do recognize from one of my favorite movies. I think, alongside that one of my favorite movies with Christopher Walken, and it was actually based on a Stephen King tale. Not much of a horror story, but I liked him also in the Dead Zone from the early '80s.
Right.
Yeah, and it's weird too seeing him in this film. He barely has any lines, if any.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, he doesn't really have any much dialogue. He just like war or like yells like ah, and I
Or like
like
does
things,
like this hissing kind of sound. I mean, it's just kind of
yeah,
weird not seeing him speak really ever.
yeah. He was just everything about he just perfectly played the role of just a bloodthirsty monster. Something who had no deprived of all humanity, was just in it just to rack up his kills.
Yep.
And well, at least that was his motivation when he was alive. But let's see, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and also he had previously worked with Tim Burton as well. He was Maxwell Schreck in Batman Returns.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
so
trying to think of what else he was in, because I know he's been in a lot of stuff. I know he's still acting to this day.
oh yeah,
I'm trying to think of what else was he in, because I know I've seen him in some other stuff.
let's see.
So the part where his teeth are sharpened, I actually had a coworker that did that to her teeth.
What?
Well, not all of it, I think, but she tried to, and she said she would sharpen them, and I was like, why? Like, it sounds painful. And she said that way, if someone attacks her, she could bite them and really injure them.
Oh,
And she was telling me like all the ways to protect yourself when you're walking in the dark, and I was like, you're scary.
that is freaky.
I think if you showed like, can you imagine also like you had to go into like a photo studio because you want to get like a new portrait or something like that and say, all right, now let's see that smile, and you see these sharp teeth coming out. That would probably send the camera operator to run for his life.
Yeah.
Or imagine
No
like, or even better yet, he'd probably be like, all right, time to take the fake teeth out. No, those are my actual real teeth. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what? I'm out of here. Get somebody else.
I glued fangs before to be a vampire, but I would never like grind my teeth on purpose.
Oh yeah, that's something.
Sorry, Don. What?
Yeah, I mean that is what people normally do for vampires, gluing the teeth on. And that's one thing, but to actually sharpen your teeth, oh my god. Yeah, no way.
Reminds me of that movie Trilogy of Terror. Remember the ending up when she was like stabbing the knife on the ground? She revealed those beastly looking teeth. Did you ever see that movie, Tom?
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about then. Yeah.
Yep. Yes. And we're doing great, Thomas. Yeah, just hanging out. You know, it's been a good week so far. Talking about now we're talking about another beloved 90s flick. Yeah. And let's see. Headless Horseman is a terrifying monster and a legend. Oh yes. Yes, this comes from this story of Sleepy Hollow. Is the movie is loosely based on the Legend of Sleepy Hollow from I believe his name is Washington Irving, and that story now is officially 200 years old because it was originally written back in 1821. That's right. And turns out, and you know, Sleepy Hollow is an actual place in New York. It's a real town.
Yes, it is. And there are stories, although there's none that I've ever came across for the actual, you know, story about a headless horseman. There are tales and legends of true headless horseman stories, not just here in the United States, but around the world. I mean, you find them in, you know, parts of Europe, Asia. I think I've even uncovered a story one time down in South America. So they're pretty much all over the place. What's going on, Sarah?
You would think that they're around a lot because they used to behead people a lot, like especially during those times, you know, where even they did like medieval killings where they would just chop off your head.
The guillotines. Yep. I mean, that was a sort of execution that truly did exist, and that definitely did involve decapitation.
Yep. Yeah, back in those times, because this film did take place in 1799. So back when the justice system was a whole lot more brutal.
Yeah, they relied on in those days, because I think most of them believed in the death penalty. So you basically, sometimes they would even give you a choice of how you want to die. Either you were hung by a noose or your head was going to come off.
Yep.
What would you choose?
And
I would choose maybe the guillotine, because it'd be a quicker death.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Hanging on the end of a rope, that seems like a pretty long way to die.
Jesus. Chucky, Freddy, Jeff the Killer, and Jason Voorhees are the scariest of them all. Oh. Yeah, those are pretty terrifying horror icons. Yeah. And wait. Headless Horsemen are a type of European dark fairy?
They are. They are
Oh.
because I think they originated from. I think the story originated in Europe.
Ah, I see.
Mm-hmm.
His whip was supposed to made of a human spine. Oh my
What?
god!
Wait,
Whoa.
I don't get it.
The whip?
I don't remember a whip.
I don't know her whip. I remember the sword that he uses to
Is that the
decapitate his victims.
classic?
But
Maybe it's the classic tale, like in the book.
it could be.
I don't remember ever hearing it. I mean,
His
I've
whip
never
to,
read
like-
the book, but I've never
His
heard
whip that he
of
used.
what done.
Yeah, maybe it's like she means like the whip used for the horse.
Yeah.
Did you mean wait? What? Did you mean to
Wait,
create
wait,
3
what?
chats for that?
Wait, what?
I have no idea what Jeremy's talking
Yeah.
about, so
I got
you might have to be
3.
a little bit more specific.
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
3 chat.
Huh? I don't.
So I just picked one.
I only know of one.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah.
Well, I just did one. One for like your channel, Nick. One for my channel. One for the Things Network.
Oh, okay. We got 3 notifications, so I just clicked on one of them.
Oh. Yeah, I just figured that could help, expand the audience a bit. But
Yeah, I don't know.
Here's one. Wow, thanks, Jerry.
He's sending a message to all of them.
Wow.
Must be 2 other unknown
Anyway,
chats that exist.
Oops.
Okay. Anyway, so the headless horseman in this film was like brought back about 20 years because before the film started, had been dead for about 20 years, and it was finally killed in battle, like and chopped off his head and buried him right outside of this tree of the dead, which was a pretty crazy addition to the story because you remember when Johnny Depp, when he was like hacking away at the roots, or not roots, like the bottom of the tree, the trunk, whatever they call it, yeah, and the blood was just spurting out, and I'm just like, oh man, like what?
Yeah, it was bleeding.
Yeah, a bleeding tree. I'm just like, yeah, that's not creepy at all.
Who just joined in?
Have you guys
going
ever
on,
seen a
Nikki?
tree
Hey,
like
Nikki.
that? Like, I remember I stabbed this tree once. I was a little kid though, so that was mean back then. But it was bleeding like this red goo, and I thought the same exact thing. I was like, oh my gosh, I just hurt like this thing that's alive, and it's bleeding blood.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There
That's
actually
insane.
are, and I remember again, this is more of something from Europe, but I actually do recall once again there are stories of supposedly like trees that like bleed, like blood-like substance. It's so weird. I'm actually looking for one of those examples because somebody actually took a picture of a tree out in the UK, and it has this deep red like blood like substance. It's not tree sap. It's literally like blood. So I'm trying to find that picture right now. It's just
Hi, Nikki.
it's so weird.
Hey.
Oh, bye, Thomas. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, and
Hi,
also,
Thomas.
as anyone said, I want to say this for Tom too, since he's not joining. Make sure to go and subscribe to youtube.com/this is Tom's World, no apostrophe.
One.
Yeah, so go subscribe. Yeah, and Tom. Hey, I totally get it, man. It's if you're not able to join it, then that's okay. You're free to anytime. So, here. Sarah said in Washington Irving's story, it is said that the headless horseman was decapitated by a cannonball. Yes, I do remember hearing about that. So, not the case in the movie. In the movie, Tim Burton always wants to make everything dark, gothic, and just wow. That's the thing. I just love Tim Burton's approach to filmmaking. I really do. The way he just spices things up with gothic style.
Yeah, definitely. And I know I've mentioned this a few times already, but this is also one of Tim Burton's few R-rated movies, which is contrast to previous movies and movies he did afterwards, which were more for a family-oriented audience. But this was the first one where it was really more focused on, I guess you could say, late teens, but also for an adult audience. It was never made for kids to begin with.
That's right. Yeah, 7-year-old me was intrigued by it though. Oh yes, and yeah, because this was definitely more graphic because it showed not only decapitations. There was the one scene where Casper Van Dien, who played Brom in this, he was like got caught in a sword fight with the headless horseman. Like just went after him because he's had basically Brom has just had it with Horseman's Massacre. Killing his fellow townfolk. Has a sword fight with him. Dual wielding weapons, but ends up getting sliced in half.
Yeah.
Hell,
Yeah.
another movie after that.
Yeah, because like he's not getting up from that.
Guys, real quick, I found that picture, by the way, if you guys want to see that supposed bleeding tree. It's called the Bleeding Yews. It's outside of a church. I think it's another term for like tree or something like that in the UK. I'm not really sure, but it demonstrates the supposed blood-like substance. Like it's literally right outside a church. I got 2 pictures of it. Here's the first one.
Oh yeah,
Oh my
Bleeding
God.
Wheeler.
What?
Yeah, Saint Brian Atch's church in Nevern, England. But yeah, that's like supposedly
you cut off a tree's branch. It's like cutting off its limb. It's bleeding from that.
That's exactly what the stories go. They say supposedly if you cut a branch off this tree, it bleeds. And then here is a second photo. I guess there's an actual website to it. The blood is a lot more drier, but it's another primary example. So now you can get a full view of the supposed blood.
Mm-hmm.
Good God.
Yeah. So they even say none of this satisfactorily explains it, unless, of course, it is true and it is a sign of a modern day miracle. So very, very unusual. Could I say exactly if it is paranormal? I'm not entirely sure, but it's definitely strange that it bleeds this blood-like substance.
It makes me think like when you watch those movies or watch something where they have a witch buried under the tree. And so if like you harm the tree or do something with the tree, I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to like keep it down, like a curse or something. So keep it down like a protection, put the tree over their burial. But that's what I think of, like that if you cut it, it's like attached to whatever's down there that's paranormal.
Yeah. A dragon's blood tree. I don't know if I've heard a thing or two about it, but I've never really heard too much. All I know is about the bleeding yews in the UK.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and like that it's pretty crazy that a tree like that exists. Here, I just wanted to bring this up real quick. As far as like the cast goes, I remember there was we know that Christina Ricci plays Katrina Van Tassel. Like the Van Tassel family is like plays a big part in the story of this film. Like the Balthus Van Tassel, that character's father, was played by Michael Gambon, who I finally remember him as Dumbledore in the Harry Potter movies. He took over that role after the death of Richard Harris.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I should also mention Michael Gambon. He died a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he did. He was like what? I think like 90. I think
around that.
He was pretty old though.
Yeah, he had a great career. Yeah. Anyone else planning to dress up on Halloween? I dressed up at a Halloween party a few days back on Saturday. I was with all my cousins. Yeah, I went as Ghostface.
I actually could dress up early. Here, allow me to demonstrate.
Okay, here he goes.
Cool.
Nice.
Another ghost face.
Or a skull face.
Oh, his face is a skull. He's the headless horseman.
Yeah, you look like it.
Here, zoom in. I want to see if those teeth are sharpened.
Hold on.
Or what about Ghost Rider? He's a skull.
Hold on. Let me get my teeth sharpener.
There you go. Yeah, get the file for them. There you go.
Yeah.
I always wanted to do like a Ghost Rider costume, but I'm like, how do you do the flames?
Good question.
Speaking of
flames on your head.
I've tried it once. Big mistake.
Since we're talking
Light
about
yourself
Tim
on
Burton
fire.
film, I got this up too. With Jack on.
Nice.
That's cool.
So, Nikki, we were just talking earlier about how this film features probably without question, the darkest depiction of the Headless Horseman, played by Christopher Walken. Because so when the Headless Horseman was alive, and it shows Christopher Walken, that makeup and like having the filed down teeth, and just look purely animalistic. was just
awesome.
out for blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they even changed like the way he died. Like in the original story, like as Sarah said earlier, that he, like Headless Horseman was decapitated by a cannonball, but in this film, he was decapitated by his own sword when the Americans and English soldiers cornered him, and they stabbed him and then got off his head.
Oh wow!
Nick was very close to Venom.
I don't know about that.
Ghost Rider.
Wait, Christopher Walken is creepy even outside of movies.
Yeah.
I mean, Christopher Walken is known to play villains in all sorts of movies. Yeah, like he's done it. Like I said earlier, he was a villain in Batman Returns, and he also played a Bond villain before that.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was. I'm trying to remember what movie was that he was in.
Yeah, that was A View to a Kill, where he played Max Zorin. Yeah, he was that villain who wanted to basically obliterate the Silicon Valley.
I'm looking up right now.
Can't take me.
I know I've seen him.
Can you
see Nick?
No.
Yeah, I could see you guys perfectly fine. Trust me, I could see you guys perfectly fine.
Can you breathe?
Yeah, I can. Of course, I can breathe. It's a footy.
We'll pass out.
Oh,
no, I'm still here, still alive, as my grandfather would say.
Here. Sarah asked a good question. How many strikes did they use to decapitate? Realistic, you would need at least 2 or 3. Well, apparently this movie says you only need just 1, according to this movie.
I hope it's just 1. Ugh.
1 and only.
Someone trying to chop you, like it better be sharp.
It's like one hit, like you know how in video games it's like 1-hit kill. That's what's going on there.
You know what? I just looked up. I was looking up like Christopher Walken's career. Even I forgot he was in one. I don't know if he had a really big role in it. This was back in the 70s. This was a movie that actually freaked me out. He also played a detective in The Sentinel.
Oh wow!
Oh, yeah.
The Sentinel. Have you ever seen that one?
I know of it.
It's a kind of a more of a supernatural. I'm surprised you haven't seen that one, Don. It's a good one too. It's got a big cast in that film.
I might try to look for that because I like stuff like that. So I'll look it up.
I'll have to give you a hint about that movie too. Like, you know, when you decide to check it out, it's a creepy film. But yeah, Christopher Walken's in it too.
Oh, nice.
So we're just Googling.
Here.
We have a headless horseman in our suburbs, apparently.
Oh, is that right?
Cool.
See, this is what I mean. A lot of these headless horseman stories, they revolve around the world. So it's not just restricted here to the United States. They have them. I wouldn't be surprised if they have something like that in just about almost every country, every culture.
And apparently you can see.
Go ahead.
Apparently you can see him on train lines and stuff, like because we've got train lines everywhere and stuff. And a lot of people have come saying that they've seen him at night, just going across the tracks or just standing there watching them. So, and that's where we're going to investigate next week. So,
oh wow, that's awesome.
Man.
Yeah, a little bit nervous, but thanks.
Well, you know, there's another example of a headless horse. We got this one's out in the UK. And Jill, I think you were watching it last week. Remember I was doing that slideshow about the alien big cats, the phantom cats. That area I was talking about, Dartmoor, which is just this huge area of different urban, legends and ghost stories. In addition to the phantom cats, Dartmoor also has their own headless horseman story there too. So you got one in Dartmoor. There's also a even stranger story, believe it or not. I know this is going to sound weird, but could it have some type of connection with the headless horseman of Dartmoor? I'm not sure. But there's actually a legend that goes on about something called the hairy hands. They are literally a pair of disembodied hands that will appear at the front of an ongoing driver, take hold of the wheel, and then run them off the road. And the hands are often described actually as invisible, so nobody ever sees it coming. And
Oh,
there
wow.
have been a few accidents as a result of the so-called hairy hands. Most of the people who suffered of the hairy hands attacks, if you will, fortunately, because it's more open countryside, they usually will just run into an open area and not get hurt at all. But there have been a few accidents. So there's a lot of weird things that go on in Dartmoor. So you got that, you got the cats, and in this case, you got their own personal headless horseman.
Nice.
Awesome.
Don knows his movies from where he is. There are 3 shelves behind him with a bunch of movies there. Yes, Santi, that is true. Each one of the good majority of these are movies that I remember from childhood that have just stayed with me. That have stayed with me to this day. But lately, I've been switching these from Blu-rays to higher quality to, not Blu-rays, from DVDs to higher quality, like Blu-rays and 4K. So, yeah.
No offense, Don. Jeremy still has the biggest collection. I can see he's on right now.
Yeah.
So, Santi, you'd be surprised if you saw Jeremy's collection.
Yeah. Here, what is Jeremy saying now? Here, let's see. I have to admire your dedication, Nick. There's no way I could wear a mask during the show. I couldn't do it.
Oh no! See, doing something like this is just years of practice.
Oh, here's what I wanted to bring up. One thing that I do love about this movie was the set design. They actually, because this movie is taking place in 1799 in the state of New York, and they made both New York City and Sleepy Hollow during, like, in that era, really look like it's taking place in that time. You know, because it's like the way the buildings look, the way people look in that, it's just, and just the way they talk, everything about this film. Really, they really nailed it. You know, like, I looked around for like anachronisms, you know, like where, you know, those items that should not be appear there in that time zone until like later on. It's like if you see something taking place in 1799 and somebody's walking around with I don't know, like an Apple Watch or something, you know, that shouldn't be there, like anachronisms. I couldn't really find any, so they were really spot on.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah.
They do a great job. I love the costumes.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this film was nominated for Best Costumes, Best Cinematography, and it won an Oscar for Best Set Design.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, yes. So, yeah, this film, from the get-go, had a lot going for it.
Doesn't have that kind of patience.
Yeah. Oh, man, and like 1999, I remember so much that came out back then. I remember... Oh man, The Matrix, Star Wars, Phantom Menace, Toy Story 2, Tarzan, and let's see. Oh, as far as TV shows, SpongeBob started in that year, and so did Family Guy, and both those shows are still running to this day.
You forgot Blair Witch Project. That also came out in 1999.
That's right. Yep. And let's see. Oh yeah, and we were talking about James Bond earlier. The 19th James Bond film, The World Is Not Enough, was released then, and I believe. And to my knowledge, if I remember correctly, this was the last James Bond film to have Desmond Llewellyn play Q right before the actor's death from a car accident.
You also had, yes, it technically came out in 1999, but of course, when it got released into America, it had the year 2000. Of course, you also had the return of Godzilla, in this case, Godzilla 2000, but released in Japan before it was released in the United States.
I remember first watching that when it came out. I believe, it came out in theaters theatrically, but I saw it when it came out like in home video. Like I watched the VHS of it back then.
That's one of my favorites.
And
let me guess, you got it with you. There you go.
Oh yeah, but nothing beats the original one for me.
Yep.
Yeah, this has both. Oh yeah, this has both versions. The Japanese version. Yeah.
No, it was just a cough.
Okay. Yeah. This has both versions. The original Japanese version, Gojira, and the American version, Godzilla King of the Monsters. So.
I remember you showed that one to me, Don.
Yeah, I remember that.
I'm so ready to start covering Godzilla movies when the new year comes around. I don't know if I announced this yet, but in January, we're planning on starting to cover Godzilla movies.
Yeah, but Jeremy as a reminder, Don, that's going to take you about a good 2 years to get through the whole franchise.
Well, we're not covering every single one of them, just the favorites, like ones that we like, ones that the people like. Yeah, and of course, just one that is not so great. You can probably
Yeah,
get,
Jeremy. You got a point there,
I've
Jeremy.
only seen one.
Hmm.
I've got a lot of catching up to do.
but yeah, so yeah, in Sleepy Hollow, like I just love the whole intro. Like it shows how there's trouble amok in Sleepy Hollow. The Headless Horseman taking two victims on when they were in a carriage, and oh man, the atmosphere, like it really set the tone for this movie. And then we're introduced to Johnny Depp as Ichabod Crane, who is like frustrated with the unfair treatment that the justice system is giving people, using torture devices, and also how he wants to introduce, for what's later would be called forensic science to in order to solve crimes, which he's put to the test by when he's sent to Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah,
and I'm trying. Sorry, go ahead. Go on.
I like the goggles that he puts on to investigate or like really look at something really close.
Yeah, it was the goggles he had on. It was like a sort of a microscope kind of a look to it, like a binocular on one side, and it's like he's investigating murders, and yet it's still is disturbed by the sight of blood, by the sight of bugs. Because there was one point where he had blood spurted down his face, like when he was doing an autopsy. And there was when he was using the goggles, like you said, there was a bug that came out of the stump of the head of where the guy's head was. Yeah, because that's the thing. The Headless Horseman, he takes the heads after he kills his victims.
Like to keep them as trophies or something like that. One other thing I wanted to bring up, because you brought up about Ichabod trying to basically talk about the executions, the torture devices. As a reminder, too, because you missed someone else that was big that showed up in that scene, which I know he passed away a couple of years ago. The guy who disagreed, who was the burgomaster, which was like an English version of calling it a magistrate or a judge.
Magistrate,
who was played by Christopher Lee.
Yes, the judge was played by Christopher Lee in the very beginning. And oh man, what a legend. Yeah, I was going to bring him up, but we kind of went off that. But Christopher Lee plays the judge at the beginning of this film, who sends Ichabod Crane to Sleepy Hollow to investigate the decapitations. And
he actually is known as the burgomaster. That's just another old-fashioned way of calling like a judge or a magistrate.
Oh yes, I mean this was 1799. They're still in the early years of America. Yeah, so and like I said, this took place 20 years after the American Revolutionary War. And let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I just like how the magistrate in Sleepy Hollow was played by who was that guy?
That was Christopher Lee. That's just known as the burgomaster.
No. The magistrate in Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, in Sleepy Hollow. Okay, you're right.
Richard Griffiths. Because he was another reference to Harry Potter. He also played Uncle Vernon in the Harry Potter movies.
That's right.
Yep. Yeah. This whole movie is just full of familiar faces. Like, let's see. Oh yeah, the doctor in Sleepy Hollow was played by Ian McDiarmid, who was Palpatine in Star Wars.
Oh really? Oh my God! How did I miss that?
Yeah, that's him. I enjoyed watching Richard Griffiths. Yeah, he was a great actor. Another actor gone. Yeah, no longer with us.
That's the sad part about this movie is some of the actors obviously involved, especially the older ones, are no longer around today.
That's right. Yeah. And how much the world changes.
Yeah, definitely a reminder of a bygone era.
Yeah. For this movie, Harry Potter, and this movie has two actors of Harry Potter, the actor behind Uncle Vernon and the actor behind Dumbledore. Man. Yeah, I'm trying to, and I gotta say, I really liked Christina Ricci's character. Like, she actually played the character so well that when I first noticed her in the film, I almost didn't recognize her with the blonde hair.
Yeah, I watched the Addams Family and the Addams Family Values the other day, and then the next, like either that night or the next day, I watched Sleepy Hollow just to refresh. And I couldn't believe like the big change, like watching her from a little girl to this blonde woman. It's like, what?
Wasn't she still like in her late teens, even by the time that she was in Sleepy Hollow?
Yeah.
She was late
19.
20s.
19.
Yeah, around
Okay.
19 at the time when Sleepy Hollow was filmed.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
and so her character forms a romance with Johnny Depp's character, even though Johnny Depp is way older.
He's
Well,
36
you have to remember,
at the time.
Don, this was
Yeah.
a different era. Age differences didn't matter in those days. Like now, that was not that was. I mean, that's just reality. That's just the way of life.
No
was.
comment.
No comment.
Well, you also have to remember in those days too, people were expected to the old age, if you will, was like 40 years old. So you weren't expected to live that long. That was just part of the culture.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people live a lot longer now. I think back then it was a lot of the deaths that occurred back then, like when people are in their 40s, is because of health conditions that we have, treatments for today.
Yeah, in those days, you were considered elderly at 40. That was just the way of life.
Yep.
True. Oh, here. DJ MNC says ideas for a podcast. Mortal Kombat's. Okay, not a horror film, but it does have, some fatalities. But let's see, Alien definitely. Let's see, Predator, Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead we will be covering soon. Maximum Overdrive, Prom Night, Ghostbusters, I Am Legend.
You should do Ghostbusters in the early part of next year because the new one is going to be coming out in a few months.
Yep,
And they're making another Legend.
Oh, they are. Really?
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Yeah, I wonder who's going to play the villain in. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of a different movie. No. I Am Legend. Yeah, that's the one with Will Smith. Yeah, Will Smith. Yeah,
I've read the book.
Oh yeah, when you think about it, I Am Legend is basically like a modern version of Omega Man.
It is, but this I will admit this though. This, from what I've read in the book, we actually read it back when I was in high school. Reading in the book and the film, there are a lot of differences between. Because, like you just said, Joe, the movie's kind of more of like a zombie type film, but the book is more vampire oriented.
Yeah, I was gonna say the creatures in it is kind of both because they seem like zombies because of the outbreak, but then again, the way they live, how they are dormant during the day, it's like vampires.
Yeah,
like a hybrid almost.
Yeah, I remember watching that movie when I was in high school.
I saw that when it came out.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. I saw it when that came out as well. Oh, Jeremy's saying add Doom to the list. I don't know. It's like I don't mean I don't know as in I don't know if we're going to talk about it on the podcast. We will at some point, but I'm just saying I don't know about that movie. Like as far as it being good.
I see Resident Evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be glad Brad's not here to watch because you know what movie he would want to bring up.
House of the Dead?
Huh?
House of the Dead?
Jaws.
No, you know what I'm talking about.
What do you mean?
Jaws.
What's wrong with Jaws? Jaws is a great movie.
You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, the one that we're done covering.
We don't speak of this.
Yeah. Oh, here.
Yes.
Sarah, we're actually covering that in December, Nightmare Before Christmas, because it's the 30th anniversary of the film. We have got to cover that, yes. Oh, Jesus.
Thanksgiving. Oh, my God. We are going to see that new one coming out, though, that new Thanksgiving horror film.
Yes.
A couple weeks from now.
Yeah, and Nikki, if you don't know, Thanksgiving is a Thanksgiving horror film, but it's about it focuses on a killer turkey.
Oh God, I still haven't seen that. I don't know if I want to.
It's just about as silly as you would think, and the turkey talks, and it talks.
Oh God, no!
Yes, it's voiced by the director.
Oh my God! Wait! Hang on, I gotta zoom in on that because this is awesome. What are those like rings or what are those?
Yeah, rings.
I love them.
It was on the cake.
Oh, that is amazing! I love it.
That's awesome.
Well, and of course, you guys see here with my hat. Of course, it has quite the designs on it too. So,
yep, we're fans.
And you guys know I got that jacket.
Never watched it.
You wait. Back up. You haven't seen Nightmare Before Christmas, Nikki?
Oh, please watch it.
Oh,
you haven't seen it?
Watch it, Nikki.
You
You'll
need
like
to.
You gotta watch it.
You need to.
It's a great film.
It is a great film. It's one of the best stop motion animations of all time.
You got 3 of them. Oh my god.
There's 4, but I don't know where it went.
Is the other one Sally or?
I don't remember. It's either Sally or just another girl.
Just another girl.
No, I mean, like I'm not sure. I think I'm guessing it's another Sally.
Okay. I was gonna say, what other girl are you talking about?
I wasn't even thinking girl. I was thinking the dog, but never mind.
Zero. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
wait.
and then I said girl.
I almost forgot. I have this too. You guys might have seen this before, but I also got a vinyl record that Tom got me as a birthday present last year.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
The full vinyl, and on the back of it, of course, you got Sally right here.
nice.
So
That's awesome.
Really, haven't played it yet, but either way, I'm still going to keep it in its case regardless. So real cool stuff.
Oh, speaking of Nightmare Before Christmas, Jack Skellington actually does make an appearance in Sleepy Hollow.
I was going to
Look at
bring that
Nikki's.
up. That's right, he does. Oh, okay. So
Wait, look at Nikki's.
Hang on, let's zoom in. Wait, hang on. Nikki's got her share too.
Yep.
Even though she hasn't seen it. Is that a what is
I
that?
liked it. It's cool.
A purse?
Yeah, it's a bag.
I was gonna say,
Ooh.
is it like a backpack?
It's perfect.
Nice.
That is awesome. I love it.
That's so cool.
Take me off the screen now.
She's all take me off.
I can bitch down.
So here is Jack Skellington in Sleepy Hollow. He's a scarecrow.
Yeah.
Hang on, now
cool.
it's Don's turn. Let's zoom in on him.
He appears as a scarecrow.
I was just about to bring
Oh,
that
cool.
up, Don. So
Yeah,
yeah, he appears in a scarecrow form. The first and so far only time, once again, that he appeared briefly in an R-rated movie.
Yep.
It's actually really pretty.
Okay, I'm gonna take this damn thing
That
off.
way,
It
I'm
is
just gonna
hot, this
add to
damn
the
thing.
collection.
Burn it
There
up
we
in
go.
there.
Hang on one
Needs to
second.
breathe.
Yeah, burn it up in there.
It's gonna be a bit warm.
Yeah, it's getting hot in this thing. I was lucky enough to actually stay in it for that long, but my God, it gets hot in that thing real quick.
You end up like a turkey.
I was just waiting. I was just waiting for. Hey, I was just waiting for that to happen, for you to be like, okay, this is too hot. I gotta take it off.
Yeah, I was in it for I must have been in it for 20 minutes or so. It's not hard to breathe. It gets hot in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
I gotcha. Oh man,
The Scarecrow horror movie.
Scarecrow horror movie.
Scarecrow. Oh wait, you're
yeah,
not
I saw a
talking
trailer.
about- The only one I could think of, it's not really a scarecrow. All I could think about is Jeepers Creepers 2 with the creep posing as a scarecrow.
Yeah, or Scarecrow walks at midnight, but Goosebumps.
Oh,
I think there's another one.
I got one more thing to pay homage to Jack, by the way. This one I got is I forgot I had it in the hoodie too. Check this out. This is also a little watch I got here.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
This was given to me actually by somebody at a Paracon that I was at 5 years ago. Now it doesn't really work anymore, but I still keep it as a memento. It's a prize possession. I wear it actually on my investigations. And if you look real close, you got Jack and Sally standing on Spiral Hill. And then I also got this too. It has Jack on it.
Nice.
And
cool.
this was given to me on my 21st birthday. So I wear it not only just on my birthday, but throughout the entire month of October. So they really mean a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah, awesome.
I like that a lot.
Yeah,
That's
it
nice.
signifies too, because this movie came out the same year I was born. So I'm connected to that film. When I turn that age, so does that movie, because I was born just a few months before the film came out.
Yeah. So
Sarah, shut up. It's not jewelry.
It's a watch.
Oh yeah. Oh, and let's talk about the some of the death scenes. The death scenes were very suspenseful, like very gruesome. It's like it's about to happen, you just don't know when. And like in the very beginning, like the sound of the headless horseman like unsheathing his sword, indicating he's about to strike. Then it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need a fan in there?
That's what I'm using right now because I just told you it was hot after being in there for a while.
There. Nick is wearing more jewelry than I normally would.
I already responded to
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I like the use of red earrings.
Red herrings, yeah. Me, as far as jewelry, I just got watch, 2 necklaces, and 2 rings.
Oh, speaking of scarecrows, I have an old one to recommend. Dark Night of the Scarecrow.
Never heard of that, but I'll look into it.
That's why I couldn't wear a mask.
Batman Scarecrow. There's Batman with Scarecrow in it. That was cool.
Yeah.
Scarecrow, that's right. And let's see. Like this has to be like Tim Burton's most gruesome movie. That is Until Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Nick, you're right.
Oh.
Yeah, Sweeney Todd was definitely where he really went all out as far as blood, as the murders, everything.
Leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Not it could, but great songs though.
Yeah.
Apparently Jeremy says it's a 1970s movie, so that's probably why I haven't heard of that one before.
Okay, maybe we'll do that. And let's see. What was I gonna say?
Jeremy, it's actually it's from the early 80s. It's from 1981. It's a TV film, in fact.
Oh, cool.
Oh yeah. And so the whole plot of this is that as Ichabod Crane is investigating these decapitations, he gets closer to believe that the fact that that these murders are not just random. He actually there's actually the horseman has a list, so to speak. Where there was that one part where the magistrate of Sleepy Hollow was decapitated when after being confronted by Ichabod, he was questioning him about Lady the widow Winship, who was discovered to be pregnant when she was killed by the horseman because there was a slice in her stomach, which implies that the horseman had taken the unborn child's head too. So yeah, that lets you know that if an unborn child can be killed by the horseman, then nobody's safe.
He leaves no survivors.
Yeah, I didn't even put that together. I saw the slice and I didn't think he took the head. Duh.
Yeah. It's a pretty gruesome kill too. I mean, that's got to be, in my opinion, the darkest kill I think I've ever seen in a Tim Burton film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even if it is off screen, just the implication of it is just.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. I mean, that's got to be Tim Burton's darkest film moment. I don't know if he's ever come close to doing something like that again. So that's a very rare and unusual moment. What did Jeremy just having a hot flash?
That's what I was thinking. That make me blame
some water.
You know what? I actually left
There's
my
some
cup
water.
of water. I'll be right back.
We'll do it together, Nick.
Continue on, Don. Don't worry about me.
Okay. So then the magistrates, when he's confronted about the widow Winchell, who the father was and what's the connection to why they being killed, because at first Ichabod doesn't believe that there's a horseman, there's a headless horseman, like a murderous spirit. That is until the horseman himself comes by and takes the head of the magistrate. And oh man.
And then he passes out, I think, because he blacked out or something.
Yeah.
From seeing the horseman.
The horseman killed him, but it's like that when I first saw that years ago, when I first saw this movie and I saw that moment, I'm thinking, okay, so the headless horseman has to be after specific people. He's not after Ichabod Crane, because if he wanted to kill Crane, he would have done it right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, he's only after certain individuals who are connected to the Van Tassel family and
yeah. But you know how he has in the past it'll show flashbacks with his mom. So I think she was like a witch, or she did spells.
She was suspected of witchcraft, yes.
Yeah, she did spells.
Which Ichabod felt like she was executed unjustifiably for it. And it explains his backstory as to why he doesn't have any religious faith. He just believes in science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He believes in potions.
Yeah. It's it would the Dream Cigarettes, I felt like was crucial to the story because it really gets into like his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say on the part where the frogs, I think it's frogs, but they're like whispering his name. He's kind of ignoring it because he's kind of ignoring the lore of there's a headless horseman. So he's about science. So he doesn't want to believe in anything like that. But then I think it started whispering his name. And so he thought, well, that's kind of strange. Like, you know, and I thought, well, maybe it's just because his background is his mom was a witch. And so they pick up on that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, so yeah, she was suspected of witchcraft by like Ichabod's father, who was a priest, and so yeah, she was killed inside of a torture room. And it's also they also explained how where Ichabod got those rows of dots on his hands, each one of his hands, because when he backed against like this device that I guess it was like a chair that had spikes. His hands went on the spikes and left those marks.
All those torture devices.
Yeah, I look at all that and I look at that and I'm just like, man, 1700s, you guys are messed up.
I mean, they brought a lot of that mentality from Europe, so it's not really a big surprise, honestly. But well, don't forget, and that went on. If you kind of think about it, that wasn't just the 1700s. It continued into the 1800s, early 1900s, and if you look at 100 years earlier, I mean, before that, you had the Salem witch trials, which they burned people at the stake. So it was a crazy. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people still had good lives, but you know, certain individuals. But it was definitely a strange place in those days.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we did mention like the witch trials when we were covering The Conjuring. So yeah, that was a oh man.
And obviously today, I mean, depending on certain states, you still have the death penalty in some states. Obviously, don't practice that same exact way, but they still execute those that are guilty of serious crimes.
Does Illinois have one?
Huh?
Does Illinois have one?
No, Illinois, they abolished the death penalty back in 2011. I would say about half to this day, the most recent state that abolished it was Virginia. So I'd say by today's standards, about half of the states here in the country still have it while the other half doesn't. And the majority of executions, like method of executions, is either death by lethal injection, firing squad. And believe it or not, I believe it's the only state to this day that still practices it. I think it was Oregon. They still hang people, but most people, because the inmates they have a choice of execution, and most people choose death by firing squad.
They still do firing squad.
They do, and a lot of inmates, I think, choose death by firing squad because they think it's a more manly way to be executed. Because they think, even though lethal injection is considered a more humane way, a lot of inmates usually choose firing squad because they think if they get executed by lethal injection, they think they're being, euthanized the same way as dogs do when they're dying. And they don't want to be viewed. They do not want to be viewed as being put to sleep like a dog does. They want to choose a more manly way. And death by firing squad is apparently their choice.
We don't do that here in Australia.
Oh, yeah, I know you guys don't have it over there.
Which I reckon's bull. Shite.
So Sarah is saying people still perform necromantic rituals using children's skulls and headstones. Oh yeah, there was definitely a lot of dark magic in this film as well. Yeah, there was witchcraft involved, which is why the Headless Horseman was brought back, because there is a twist behind all this. And so, Nikki, you've seen this movie, right?
Yes.
Okay, you have. Okay, so I'm not spoiling.
There we go.
We can spoil it then.
Okay, so because it turns out Lady Van Tassel, who after all the Van Tassels are dead, and like the people who would benefit from their deaths, except with the exception of Christina Ricci's character, so after that happens, like Christina Ricci, the only one left, and Lady Van Tassel is revealed to be because that's the thing. Van Tassel married into the relationship. She was like the stepmother of Christina Ricci or Katrina's character. And so Lady Van Tassel, turns out, was one of the two girls that spotted the Headless Horseman like years ago on the day he died. And because they were living out in the woods after Van Tassel tossed them and like basically casted them out. Like they were part of like this family whose symbol was an archer, and so she wanted rather revenge for like her family's outcasting by summoning the horsemen to kill like by like basically marrying or blackmailing her way into the family, and then using the headless horseman to slaughter everyone who would benefit from the family except her.
Revenge.
Yeah.
This whole thing was a big revenge plot, and the headless horseman was a tool in that.
See, Donald, Donald actually mentioned this because I was.
Night, Jeremy.
Hi, Donald.
Oh, yeah. Hang on one second here. Good night, Jeremy. You have a good night. Donald actually mentioned this on one point on the show that we did last week. When we had him on Supernatural Talk. And I actually agree with him on this. Donald, he said that while he enjoyed it, there was one thing that I think and correct me if I'm wrong, Donald, when I say this. He was a little bit disappointed that the Headless Horseman was kind of used as more of a pawn than instead of being an actual individual entity, like going out on its own free will and killing anybody that he crosses paths with. So that was the one thing that he was a little disappointed by, was that he was just more of a pawn than an actual, again, entity doing this all on his own, on his free accord. Right. So that was one. So I definitely do agree with that. I wasn't disappointed myself, but I was a little bit more surprised that he was more of a pawn than an actual antagonist.
Right. Yeah, that's like one of the major changes they made as opposed to the original story.
Yeah. See, Donald. Yep. Okay, I got it corrected. Yeah. So I said exactly how he wanted it.
Well, isn't Ghost Rider the same? Like, it's like they have a task to do. So it's like when they're called upon to do so, and then they go get who they need to go get. So in a way, it's similar where they're not really their own entity, even though they are, but they're called upon when they're needed for that.
Yeah, and she did this by stealing his skull from the grave, the skull that still had those sharp teeth in it.
Yeah.
And so when Ichabod foiled their plan by returning the skull back to him, and he in the skull he basically regenerated into like a whole face. It's Christopher Walken again. and the effects that were used in that remind me, felt like a combination between the effects from Hollow Man and the effects from The Mask, because of the eyes like popping out kind of.
Was that CGI? I assume it was, right? Okay,
yes,
I figured it was.
Oh yeah, there's no way that was practical effects. That had to have been CGI.
That would have taken a while to do.
Yeah. And then, so even the Headless Horseman himself was upset with being used as a pawn, just as upset as you are, Donald, by it, that he actually drags Lady Van Tassel back to hell with him.
In the bleeding tree.
Right back into the bloody tree.
Was that considered more of a willow tree? I thought it had an actual name, like a willow tree, or...
Well, that tree was basically used as like a portal to hell, where the Headless Horseman would rise up from and return after he's done his killings.
Also, real quick, in case you asked, Don, I actually did offer Donald if he wanted to come on, but unfortunately he's at work right now, so he can only watch. So either way, it's good to see him watching regardless.
Oh, yeah. Totally. Hey, Billy. Good to see you. Welcome. Am I late? Oh, no, don't worry about it. Yeah, we still got a half hour left on this. So, yeah, no, don't worry.
Here. Yeah, I definitely agree, Donald. So he would have loved to see the Horseman like that, being again its own entity. Although another film that also obviously is based on the Headless Horseman story, and this came out a couple years later. I think it was actually made for television.
Joe, you're right.
What's that?
Joe, you're right.
Her mic is muted.
Mic is off.
Okay.
Oh, I think she's.
Sorry about that. What?
I was going to say, I think you must have been talking to someone. That's probably
why.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Billy.
Paranormal experiencing like.
Yeah. Hey, Billy. We were discussing that. We were discussing that earlier, Billy. How the Headless Horseman has no dialogue in this. All it does is have some growls and yells, But
More animalistic.
Very animalistic, and that's no humanity, just killing like a bloodthirsty creature.
He was
Yeah.
animalistic when he was alive.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, he
the idea.
was.
Yeah, we were just saying, Billy, this was like the darkest headless horseman in film history, no doubt.
The film I was going to bring up, because this was what I was going to say, and this came out a few years later, in which the Headless Horseman did act as its own entity. Again, this was a film I think made for TV. I think it came out in 2004. What's up, Tom? Was just a movie simply called The Hollow, which, strangely enough, Nick Carter from Backstreet Boys is in it.
Yes, I remember that.
That movie, The Headless Horseman, is its own entity, although one difference is he's not really a headless horseman. I mean, I think he's only like that for like his first appearance, but for the rest of the film, he's still that animalistic behavior because he takes one of his pumpkins and wears it as his new head.
Yes,
so
that's right. And yeah, that's right. I remember The Hollow. I remember the main guy Ian was played by Kevin Zegers, who I remember first seeing in Air Bud, but he also, as far as horror, he was in the remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I was really surprised by the amount of cast members in that film.
Yeah.
I'm really surprised that it doesn't get as much attention as it should. Like, it should be one of those movies that should be airing like with all the other movies that they show around Halloween, like on the Family Channel or whatever. In fact, the first time I ever saw that one, and this was back when we used to have this channel, was the same channel where they used to air Scariest Places on Earth, because they used to have 13 Nights of Halloween, and The Hollow was one of those movies. It would literally air right after when they showed the repeats of Scariest Places on Earth. So it was the first time I ever saw that one.
Oh yeah, and thinking back to that movie, I was sort of surprised to remember that Kaylee Cuoco was in this. So this is a little while before she started playing Penny in The Big Bang Theory.
I know. It was kind of quite a debut for some of the folks that were in that film.
Yeah. Wait, Ray Park was Ray Park?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right. He was Darth Maul in Phantom Menace, and he was also Toad in X-Men.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with a little bit of his work. Yeah. Definitely a long way from a Disney cartoon. Oh, totally.
Yeah, that's right.
In all versions, does the Headless Horseman kill people? Well, he cuts off heads, so I imagine so.
Yep.
Oh, God.
All right. Also, Nick, Family Channel?
No, it was... I don't remember if that was the full name. It was man. Great. Now I got to look it up because now I can't remember the full name of it. Damn it.
ABC Family? Wait.
No, it was not ABC Family. It was I guess it was the ABC Family channel.
Yeah. That's before it became Freeform.
Yeah, it was ABC. Yeah, it was ABC Family. It's now Freeform today. Yeah, they would show they used to have 13 Nights of Halloween back in the early 2000s, and again, they used to show Scariest Places on Earth. They showed The Howling one night. I remember another night that they showed the Poltergeist films. So that was where I first saw Poltergeist too.
Oh, nice.
It was kind of a debut for certain paranormal shows and horror films as part of 13 Nights of Halloween. So, man, were those the days.
Made me feel so old now.
I feel old just thinking about it.
Oh, stop.
It's here. Sarah's saying that Kaylee might have done a better job than Christina Ricci. I don't know. Both actresses are good, so that's somewhat debatable.
Sarah, I have to agree with you on that. Scariest. I don't know if it was ever on Travel Channel. I think it was ABC Family, but I do remember repeats that were on Sci-Fi for a couple years. But it was a good series. I know it's still on. You can still watch it on YouTube. They just don't broadcast it anymore.
Here, I'm looking it up. What the? My Siri just went off. even though nobody's doing anything. I don't know why it did that.
Siri, tell us a joke.
Nope. Watch is off.
Get all serious.
Oh wow!
Anyway,
looking it up.
I found a picture here. Here, hang on. Open link.
Donald's like, I got you all beat on age.
Barely.
Open image on
He's
new tab.
kind of
Here,
got
I
us
found it.
there.
Here, Ray
Barely.
Park. I found it. Hang on.
I say you're as old as you feel, so.
Here, I got it. Here.
I'm almost there.
I found it. Here. This is him
Oh, wow.
as Headless Horseman
Yeah,
when he did not have a head. My guess is that they did something to make his head. I'm guessing like a green, like some sort of a green facial wear, like how you use a green screen to like
green
hide
screen.
something. Yeah, that's what they did with him.
That's interesting.
That's cool.
That's Ray Park on the set of Sleepy Hollow. Yeah.
Love it.
That's so weird. I never seen that photo before.
All right.
Big fan, Darth Maul.
I may not be the biggest fan of Phantom Menace, but you definitely killed it in this film, literally and figuratively.
A little bit.
Oh boy. Wow.
Handsome devil.
Yeah.
Handsome. He does kind of have Jeez, I cannot talk today. He does kind of have a gentleman-like appearance with that costume on.
Oh yeah.
I'm still trying to get ideas for Halloween for costume.
Yeah. So yeah, when they use that effect here, let me just open this up. Open lane. Open that. Here.
He
Here,
had the green mask, huh?
Here, I got it.
Blue wide eyes. The hell is that supposed to mean?
Oh, it's the emoji.
Here's the end result.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
that's what I always found impressive, by the appearance of him in the film, is that they really did a good job making him truly headless.
Oh yes, totally. It's like this guy's like with all that makeup on that he does in movies, like oh man, like Darth Maul, like he's barely recognizable when you see like the actual him, like him without the makeup. Oh my god.
See, if you do that now, you could basically digitally remove somebody's head. Even back in 1999, although they had like CGI and the green screens, they still didn't have a lot of the stuff we have now. Yeah. See, Sarah just said exactly what I was thinking. This was before modern CGI.
Yeah. Oh,
it would be
here's what they. Oh wait, I think I figured it out. Here, let me open image.
Well, in Christine, they pretend. I think it was Chris. Wait, not Christine. Was it Christine?
I found an image here.
Oh no, it was this movie.
Here, I found an image right here that might explain it. Here.
They were pranking him.
Oh, wow!
I think he had this on when he was. I think he had this on when he was doing like the Headless Horseman scenes, like where without the head.
Mm-hmm.
They used like a not green screen, like blue screen kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a blue fabric so that they can edit that to make it appear to be headless.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know something like that even existed even back then.
I did. So that's how they did it.
That's
wow.
cool.
I was thinking Photoshop.
It's not that simple with Photoshop.
No.
Because Photoshop means, doing that on one frame. You want to do that
on a
like,
still.
On a yeah. So you're talking probably somewhere between 30 to 60 frames per second. And you think about all the screen time that the Headless Horseman has without a head. That would be way too much work.
Yeah.
Yep.
They did a great job with the visual effects. That they did. They did a great job with all sorts of things. The set design, which it won an Academy Award for, and let's see, the costumes and like everything. The editing was amazing. And there were several moments that just made me kind of chuckle. Like when with Headless Horseman, like there was that moment where he went after that family of three, and when it shows that sign, when it shows that sign before he walks in, there was a sign that said. Knock and knock before entering, just bust down the door like Kool-Aid Man.
Rules don't apply.
Yep. And
well, it's not like the vampires. You have to give them permission. So I guess he just barges in.
He's a Headless Horseman, not a vampire. So
coming in.
That rule doesn't apply to him.
Yeah.
Yep. Hang on. Wait.
They should do the Lost Boys.
Oh, Lost Boys. That is a good film.
Haven't seen it.
I was thinking The Permission.
Well, I've actually only seen parts of it. I haven't seen the full thing, but either way, it's a great film too.
Nick, what's your favorite movie?
Oh God. What's my favorite movie? Oh, wait, just came back because I think I still see it as not only just my favorite horror film, I think it's just like my favorite movie ever. And this is actually a film we should cover at some point. It's an Italian horror film, as a matter of fact. It's from the late 70s.
Nosferatu.
No. Nosferatu. No. First off, Nosferatu's from the early 20s.
I was looking for this right here. Wait, hold on. I was looking for this right here. So when Headless Horseman busts down that door, it's like
First of all, Joe, Nosferatu's from the early 20s. It's a German film. This film I was about to bring up is from the late 70s. It's from Italy. My favorite one would have to be Dario Argento's Suspiria.
Oh, yeah.
We need to cover that one, too, at some point. That's like one of my favorite horror films, if not my favorite movie ever.
It's a great one.
Saw it 4 times the first time I saw it.
Oh, did you?
It was just literally a film that I had to see again. Like, I saw it one day, then I saw it the next day, then the next day, and then the next day, because I was so impressed with Dario Argento's work in that film. It's just such an awesome movie.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah, it was a great one. Oh, man. Yeah, Dario Argento, he was brilliant.
I think he's still alive.
Wait, is he still alive?
Yeah, last time I saw, he was still alive. He's like in his 80s now.
I say. Yeah.
Actually, just to be sure, because I don't know if it's been a couple weeks. So, yeah, he is. He's still alive. He's 83 years old. He still lives out in.
Would you want to cover Zombie Island and The Witch's Ghost? Oh, he's referring to the Scooby-Doo movies.
Scooby-Doo.
The animated.
I saw that the other day.
Of course, most people have.
Part of my childhood right there. But yeah. I've been saying this for months now. If you love Scooby-Doo, do not watch Velma.
No, don't.
Do not.
Don't.
What is it?
You know what? You brought up a good reminder. 25 years ago was when Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island came out. 1998.
Oh, yes.
And then Witch's Ghost, that will be their 25th anniversary next year.
Yeah, let's see. 1998. That was a special year for a lot of reasons. 1998 is when Google was launched. Let's see. Titanic was released and was receiving 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture.
I was 3.
Yeah. In 1998, yes. And let's see. Resident Evil 2 was released. Let's see. Oh, yeah. The DVD was introduced to America, revolutionized home viewing, the home video market. So, yeah, 1988 was a big year for a lot of things.
Well, there is actually something I'm probably going to cover possibly next week with Nick Files. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the full thing in time. It's not a real good thing that occurred in 98. 1998 was also the year when one of the deadliest hurricanes, in this case, Central American history, had. It was Hurricane Mitch back in 1998. And it was a horrific monster storm. Truly one of the worst and most powerful hurricanes to ever hit Central America, particularly Honduras and Nicaragua. So I actually might be covering that next week, because next week is actually going to be the 25th anniversary of that hurricane. It's another truly sad story, and I thought it would be important to cover that story for the anniversary. Nice. And also in respect for those who lived through those days back in October, early November of 98.
Yeah. Oh, here. Sarah is saying, when was Blair Witch Project released? That was 1999. 1999. Yes. And I remember the advertisements for that as well. I remember that. I remember all those movies that we listed before. The Matrix, Lake Placid, Tarzan. I remember all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here, Don. Also, Zombie Island and Witch's Ghost are surprisingly dark and actually investigate real supernaturals. That's right.
They do. It does have an act, although they still keep that comedy aspect in it. They are truly the first that not truly have a horror element to them. And also, again, even though they still have the comedy, like I just said, the comedy, they're actually pretty much the first films where they kind of have a more serious tone to them.
Never knew that.
That is true.
Yeah, they decided to make a change. I mean, they did a few other Scooby-Doo films where the monsters were real, but they still had that silly kind of funny aspect, childlike aspect to them.
Yeah.
These two films in particular were the first to be actually serious.
Yeah.
I was Velma last year for.
Oh, wait. Yeah, let's zoom in on that.
Oh, let's see.
I was Velma last year.
Oh,
I faked hair. I faked
you were
it.
dressed up with it last year because we had you on one of the Halloween shows and we didn't see you wearing it then.
I wore it for something. I might have been. I don't know. I was on a podcast, but I don't remember which one. Yeah, because I was
Supernatural Talk.
Maybe I was on. I think with Clarissa did one, but I was Jill Valentine on that one.
Oh, Jill Valentine.
This might have been just on a Halloween night.
Oh, okay. Jill Valentine, I love her. One of my favorite female video game characters.
Resident
Evil game.
Yep.
What? The Scooby-Doo Project?
Yeah, I heard about that one.
No way.
I'm looking this up. I'm googling.
Yeah,
I heard about
I was
that.
going to say you're bullshitting me. Come on now, that can't be real.
No, I heard about that one.
I mean,
Yeah.
is Cartoon Network really that desperate? They're gonna try to make parodies out of horror films that are not for kids.
This is why that channel is just going downhill. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad they got that. Oh God! No. I'm glad they got that block of checkered pass. I'm glad they got that up with the older cartoons. That's awesome. But man, this is why the channel. Other than that, this is why the channel.
I told ya.
Oh God, no!
It is real.
Mm-hmm.
It's real.
Oh God, damn
No.
it!
Wow.
Oh
Okay.
my God. Oh, it even shows that final shot, a parody of Shaggy facing a wall.
Wait,
no.
wait. I should have kept it. No.
Are
You know what we're all
serious?
watching
kidding
tonight?
me?
Yeah, I heard about that one.
God. Jesus.
If
What's
I
it on
see that,
Netflix? What?
if I
This
see
true
that,
Scooby-Doo killed up body.
I'm just gonna say this: if I see that film, I don't know if I'll ever look at Scooby-Doo or Blair Witch Project the same way ever again.
Well, hey, thanks to the show Velma, you won't look at Scooby-Doo the same way again.
Yeah. Billy's got a question for you, Jade. I mean, Jill.
The movie.
It's been a long.
From the movie. Okay, so it's from Resident Evil Apocalypse. Okay, so which is basically like the original Resident Evil 3. He's
3.
talking about the original or the remake of Resident Evil 3.
Yeah, 3.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
I mean, the original.
the third game where she takes on Nemesis. That's the only video game character I was ever afraid of. Nemesis. He was terrifying.
That story.
Me too.
Yes. Oh, I remember first seeing that of being available at Blockbuster.
Another
Oh,
one
yeah.
that doesn't exist.
Oh, those were the
anymore, other than
days.
Alaska.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And Nick, you're gonna be. I was shocked by what a few of the guys on the show were saying last night when I was playing Dead Rising on the live stream. They were saying that Best Buy is going to discontinue physical copies of discs of movies and games.
No.
Really?
Yeah. So now it's like
Come on.
it's like VHS tapes are I can understand, but discs themselves, like, oh my God.
You know, speaking of which, and I got this from Best Buy, and this is a physical copy. You talked about 1999. You know what also came out that year, which I still have to this day that I got in 99 at Best Buy. It's actually it's a Nintendo 64 game, Castlevania.
I remember that.
I still have my copy.
I still have my copies of my VH, my Nintendo 64 cartridges. Yeah, including when I was little back in 1999, Pokemon Snap. I remember that one because the reason why I brought that up is because my godson Graham, my nephew, he's into Pokemon now, like really loves it. You know, he's just turned 5 years old, so he's really running his horizons, and now he's really fascinated by something from my childhood, and I just love that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he loves Pokemon Go. He loves the show. He loves the cartoon that's still going today.
Is it still going?
Sarah's
Oh,
got
wow.
her.
Yeah.
Still has her machine that turns VHSs into DVDs.
Oh, it's like a converter. Okay.
Yeah, like a converter.
I
I
need that.
still got. You know what? I'm just gonna say this now. I still have
I was
a
getting
lot of
my
VHS. I still got a lot of VHS tapes. Like the majority of the stuff I got, which is actually just across where I'm sitting in the basement.
Yeah.
Not necessarily. Well, a few of them are movies. Most of them are actually weather and storm chasing DVD like videos because most of them were made back in the 90s. And to this day, with the exception of a couple of them, most of them never made that transfer to DVD. You can only get them on VHS. They're rare copies. And I'm sure if I tried selling them today, they would actually probably cost a fortune, but I don't want to because they're rarities. I even have, believe it or not, it's not surprising, in VHS form, a copy of the movie Twister.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah, I'm already ahead of you. Yep, I got a VHS copy
Well,
of
Twister.
Great movie.
Okay, I just looked it up now. Okay, they just announced this on Fox. It says Best Buy customers looking to purchase DVDs or Blu-ray discs will have to find another retailer after the 2023 holiday season.
How sad.
Come on.
So it's no joke.
I think you'll only be able to find them now because I know there is one store that sells a lot of this old-fashioned stuff. It's good to know that.
I mean, how are they going to sell movies now? Well, how are they going to sell movies now? What are they going to do? Just to have us buy codes?
No, I was about to say there is one shop that does sell a lot of this old-fashioned stuff, including VHSs and N64 cartridges. Half-price books.
What?
That is true. Half price books. They do have some good deals. Yeah, they have.
Oh, no, they actually
just about
sell
everything.
that stuff.
Oh yeah, they sell that stuff. They have some good deals on that. So yeah, I've seen what they've got there. And here's one thing that I know that they've got that they'll never sell for anything, and that is a DVD of House of the Dead.
I think it was
Seriously,
Sarah who asked me.
I'm not even joking. Every time I go there, the House of the Dead copy still there. They actually keep on reduce. They keep on reducing the price. Like they're just like to the point where it's now like just $2. Yeah,
Somebody buy it.
Yeah, it's like here we're gonna sell for $10. Oh no, okay. A few weeks later, okay, $5, $2. Okay, you know what? We'll pay you $20. Just take the damn thing.
Are we gonna start making like a bet out of this show? Like starting beds?
Yeah, it's like we'll pay you $20. Just take the damn movie.
It's gonna say free next time.
Oh wow, check this out. Todd said some of my older Blu-rays are worth over $100. Wow, for Blu-rays?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
they can be. Some of my Godzilla movies are going to be worth that soon, including the double feature ones. These are going to be worth quite a lot soon. I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you want to put the screen up, Nick, but
Zoom.
Oh yeah, wow. Oh God, sorry.
Wakey.
I was so intrigued.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the one from it's the ones from the 90s and early 2000s.
That's right, including the supposed final one, Godzilla versus Destroyer. Yeah,
Haven't seen that one.
If they ever say something is final, don't believe them because that's what they said about Friday. That's what they said about Friday the 13th final chapter. That's what they said about Freddy's Dead Final Nightmare.
Well,
that's what they said about Saw. So, yeah.
Well, don't forget that was originally intended to be the last one until TriStar took it over and then made the Americanized one. Then Toho had no choice but to make
wait, they're going for 200?
What?
These are going for 200? Oh, I'm holding on to those. I'm holding on to them.
You know, I actually also heard too, and this goes for the VHS tapes because I actually talked about it with Joe last time that we had him on. I know not necessarily horror films, but I know a lot of those VHS copies of like Disney movies, like the animated ones, like when they're in those big plastic cases. I heard those cost like a fortune now when you try selling. If you try selling them, and I know we got a couple around here somewhere. And I've tried talking to my parents, like, unless someone else wants to still watch them, we should probably sell them because we would probably make a lot of good money off of those.
More than probably.
Yeah.
And there's no probably about it.
Yeah, I mean they're like antiques, literally.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, that just reminds me. Half Price Books. One time when I did go, they actually had a Blu-ray or not Blu-ray, a DVD of Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla from 1974. $200 they want for it.
$200.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I wish I was joking. If I was joking, I would have owned it by now.
Wow. For just a simple DVD, just $200. Wow.
Yeah, when you can watch it for free on YouTube right now.
That's quite the amount of money.
Yeah.
But then you can't collect it and you can't put it on your shelf.
Yeah, it's true. Well, that's kind of like what I'm doing with again a lot of these videos that I got.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm keeping them in a safe environment because these tapes were made like 30 years ago, and I'm hoping to still keep them running for the next 30 years. So I'm keeping them preserved.
Here, yeah, like Billy, to answer your question, like when you think box sets are, yeah, this what I do have was definitely worth more than 100. The entire series of Dragon Ball Z on Blu-ray. This was definitely worth more than that.
Wow.
Oh, Google.
No.
I just keep it right up there with my, let's see, Game of Thrones, all the James Bonds, and that 70s show. So,
Don, is it that? Hang on, is it that one?
Here, hold on. Let me zoom in on that.
Hang on.
Is that the one, Don?
No, that's the original Dragon Ball. The one
that's the one from the 80s.
It's the series that came right after that, Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
Isn't that still running?
Sorry.
Is that still running? Well, the franchise is still running. It's just that they have new shows being put out there. Like in recent years, they've had Dragon Ball Super that came out, but there's a new series in the works.
Jeez, Tom, his Blu-ray of Dead Alive is going for $300.
I've been wanting to get my hands on that on a copy of Dead Alive for years on Blu-ray, and it's not easy. They're hard to track down. Yeah,
that one's $400.
Yeah, one of the goriest horror films of all time. And
Tom requested that we should talk about it at some point.
Here.
That is a great film. I love Dead Alive.
I do. I love it. Splatter mixed with slapstick.
Yeah, it's so incredibly gory, but it's so hilarious. And it's crazy to think it was made by directed by Peter Jackson.
Yeah, I know. Peter Jackson, who would then make The Lord of the Rings. Oh, here. No, I know it sucks, and I extremely hated it. Yeah, so did I. But you think it's worse or on par? Oh, that Scoob or Return to the... Oh, it is way worse. Way worse. It is a complete insult to my childhood. None of the characters are likable in any way, shape, or form. They're always just being mean just for the sake of being mean. And seriously.
John, out of your collection, what's the oldest one that you've got?
The Blu-ray of the original Universal Monsters. Here. Like here, we've got The Mummy, Invisible Man, Frankenstein, Dracula, The Wolfman. All of that is on here. Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, awesome.
I remember you showed me one of those, Don, a few years ago, and you showed me The Invisible Man, because before that, I never seen it.
Yep, The Invisible Man. Yep, my grandpa. This has been an old. Yep, this has been an old family favorite, The Invisible Man. My grandpa Don Elmy was about 6 years old when he saw it in theaters back in 1933. Yep, saw it in one of the old school theaters. Oh yeah,
I remember you said that it scared the hell out of him when he saw it in theaters.
No, yeah, he said that people were gasping and like all sorts of reactions when they saw it in 1933 because those effects were new at the time.
Yeah, and no one expected it back then.
1933.
And it's 10 o'clock. We need to wrap this up. So I'll just make my announcement real quick. So on Thursday, I will be going back to playing some more Dead Rising on the live stream. So it's going to be 7 p.m. Central Time. Yeah, and then I'm going to continue on with that. And also going to make some more reaction videos. Nick, I wanted to do some reaction videos with you for the Halloween season.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be able to get fit in, because obviously with next week being basically the last full week of the Halloween season, it is going to be crazy. There is so much that's going on. I don't even know. I can't even describe it right now. So Sorry, I saw that. I don't know what that comment was, but I'm glad that was banned and removed.
And
Thanks,
inappropriate. Yeah, not
thanks.
cool.
Thank you for removing that.
Yes.
Um,
Very inappropriate.
We're not going to say it. Was there anything else you wanted to bring up, Don, before I got to my stuff, or hope I didn't cut you off?
No, not really. Yeah, I'm going to continue on with my live stream of Dead Rising. I've been having a lot of fun going back to that. It's been like a decade since I played it, so a little trip down memory lane. And going to do some more reaction videos as well this week because Halloween season, all kinds of horror content I want to check out, and a few of those I want to check out with you, Nick.
Yeah. Now, as far as announcements for this week, unfortunately, I wasn't going to do this originally, but unfortunately, there is no Nick Files tomorrow afternoon because I had been invited to be on another show, which is actually I'm going to be on Grizzly Chris's show tomorrow afternoon. And the reason why I got to cancel my show is because his show actually airs right after mine. So I have to get into the studio, of course, a few minutes early. So I'll be on Grizzly Chris's show tomorrow. I know to the Graven Back and the Frighteners, we're not doing this week. Supernatural talk for Thursday. I'm not entirely if only Jeremy was on. I don't know if we have a guest on. Oh, wait. Actually, I think we do. I think Donald might be coming on with us, or making a return spot back onto the show. So I think it's going to be more or less an open mic chat. Hopefully, Eileen's going to be on, and also Don, if you, I know we got to wrap this up, but if you don't mind, I'd like to give 30 seconds quickly of a preview. It's actually for my series that I've had to push back several times, but I'm not giving up. It's for my upcoming series, Scary Stories Presented in the Dark. So I know some of you guys have already seen it before, but I just want to play this real quick. It's just 30 seconds, and as soon as we play it, that's when we're going to get off. So if you don't mind, Don.
Good.
All right, here we go.
The Scary Stories host would like to apologize in advance for scaring you to death this fall. He also would like to apologize for everlasting nightmares, unexpected laughs, and constant paranoia, but that is such another issue. Scary Stories Presented in the Dark, coming this October to several paranormal networks.
Wow.
That's cool.
It was your first time seeing that, Don.
It was.
Yeah, I've had to push it back because there's a lot of technical issues, and of course the editing that I'm trying to put together. So that's why I didn't even put an exact date down. I just decided to say sometime this October. So I'm hoping to start next week. And Don, we got to figure out, hopefully, depending on the time of the show, I'm actually going to be having Don hopefully over tomorrow to film my Scary Stories host segments. So fingers crossed for that. I'll keep you guys updated. Don, I'll keep you updated on the show. And that's pretty much all I got to say.
All right, great. Oh, and to answer your question, Sarah, next week we're covering Halloween 2.
Don, I forgot to mention one final scene that we never got to bring up in Sleepy Hollow, and that's the zombie woman dude or whatever with the eyes popping out. Damn it, we got to cover that scene.
I know. Like I did say some of the effects did remind me of the mask and mixed with Hollow Man. So so that scene was included in that.
I was going to ask.
Mention it once. Damn it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. Do you want to do a show on Halloween night, or you're still thinking?
I'm still thinking about it. It depends. I'm like, what if too many people are going to be busy for it? Then it may not happen. But if nobody's got anything else going on at 8:30 on Halloween nights, I'm willing to. If everybody's on board, there is one film that I do have in mind for that.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So you got to tell us what the film is.
Okay. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want to promise something that I didn't know if we could pull through on it, but pull it off. But okay, Halloween. If we all choose to be on, if we choose to do the FearFans podcast on Halloween, if everybody's cool with being on here at 8:30 p.m., we got nothing going on. I'm planning on having us cover Trick or Treat.
Yay! Yay!
And I just want to say too, Don, that if we don't do a show on Halloween, obviously I got you covered. if that doesn't work, if we don't do a show, I might just, hopefully by then I'll have all this completed. I'll probably just play more of my scary stories. Because the scary story series, unlike this show, it's going to be pre-recorded. So anybody that comments, if you guys don't get any responses from me, you now know why. So scary story series will be pre-recorded. And like I said, that will be the substitute if we don't do a show on Halloween.
I love Trick or Treat.
Oh,
That's
yes.
a great film.
It is. Can't wait. And so next week we are covering Halloween 2. Cannot wait for this. Yeah,
Awesome.
Be fun.
Oh yeah,
My favorite killer.
Yep, I have fond memories of this film when I watched it on AMC all those years ago. Oh man! So
Perfect.
thank you guys so much for tuning in. I had a lot of fun talking about Sleepy Hollow. Great movie. It's definitely worth seeing if you're a Tim Burton fan or a horror fan in general. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time, to discuss Halloween 2. See you guys next week. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.